Okay, so Anthony Davis has been listed as unlikely to play in Game 5, and this is a pretty big problem for the Lakers. It appears that Chris Paul is relatively healthy, so if the Suns are close enough to full strength, then they can, without a doubt, beat this Lakers team. And the fate of the Lakers rests in the hands of Anthony Davis. Without him, this team really falls apart. The Lakers' bigs outside of him are just straight up weak. Drummond is really not a good defender in the paint. I think his defense gets overrated because he's a big body that's hard to move and he grabs a bunch of rebounds, but he really doesn't stop anybody. Marc Gasol is just old and unathletic. He's had a few good moments this year, but overall he has not been a good player for them either. And then Montrezl Harrell was never really known as a defender. He can score and he can grab some rebounds, but he's not going to hold things down in the paint for you on defense, which is what the Lakers really need. The bottom line is that they need somebody that can hold down the paint, and Anthony Davis is really the only one that can do that for them. But also, Anthony Davis' offense is crucial to the success of this team because without him, they are essentially just handicapped. Because outside of him, the only two players that can create their own shots are LeBron and Schroeder, and that duo is not going to be enough to get you through the playoffs. Now, granted, they've already won 2 games in the series, so maybe you can win 2 more games without Anthony Davis or with an injured Anthony Davis, but the Lakers are finals or bust, and there's no chance of them making the finals without Anthony Davis being fully healthy and playing up to his potential. Because we saw last year in the playoffs, and we saw this year when LeBron and AD were both out with injuries, that nobody else on this team is capable of stepping up and carrying the load on offense. Nobody on this team outside of LeBron and Schroeder can create their own shots. So when you don't have Anthony Davis out there, your offense is just nowhere near as capable. And with that in mind, LeBron's not going to be able to carry this offense because he's essentially the only offensive star. So Phoenix can just focus all of their attention on him. We've seen the Lakers supporting cast be very streaky. So if the Suns know that they're not going to be hitting shots consistently and that they're not going to be finishing in the paint, they can put all their focus on LeBron. LeBron's not going to be able to score if he's getting double teamed or if the paint is crowded. So they really just can't do much without Davis because when Davis is out there, they're going to have to cover LeBron. They're going to have to cover AD. They're going to have to cover Schroeder. He spaces the floor. He can have the ball in his hands. He can make shots for his teammates. He can make shots for himself. He really elevates this offense, and he's crucial to their success. Going into the playoffs, I viewed the Lakers as easily the favorites in the West. I didn't think anyone else had the talent to beat them, because in the playoffs, it's all about star power, and even though multiple teams, or many teams actually, had better records than them, none of them had the same star power as the Lakers. But with Anthony Davis's struggles and his injuries, that's really starting to be put into doubt. Because, first of all, will Anthony Davis even be available to play? If not, then there's no way they make it past round 2. They might be able to win 2 games against Phoenix, but no way they make it past round 2 without him. But even if he does come back, will we see the Anthony Davis that we saw in the bubble last year? Because that's what it's going to take for the Lakers to win. And he struggled very hard in this series, so there's no guarantee that his presence will even make that big of a difference and get them over that hump. It's really a matter of can he come back and can he go back to the Anthony Davis that we're used to. I would assume that injuries have something to do with it because he's never really had like a huge drop off in his game like this. So I would assume coming back from the Achilles injury, maybe he wasn't fully healthy, and then obviously now with his groin, maybe he's got nagging issues. I'd like to think that hopefully he's not, regressing already or something, but yeah, if he comes back, will he play at the level that he's capable of playing at? These playoffs have been really confusing so far, especially in the West. I really can't tell who's good and who's not. It seems like one team will gain leverage in a series, and then the next game, the other team gains leverage. So, really confusing. Not sure who to favor, not sure who's going to come out. This is definitely going to be an interesting playoffs and hopefully a pretty competitive one. But anyway, Anthony Davis will determine how far the Lakers go.